Good morning, good morning, good morning, amazing Leonard. We're back for court. I've got coffee, lots of coffee. Maybe not enough coffee. I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure if it's going to be enough coffee, but we'll figure it out. It is Wednesday. It's February 25th. Yes, I don't know what day it is. I absolutely had to look and double check because it's Wednesday, but it's day 735 of trial, aka day 3. I will be using that synonymously. It's been 84 years and I don't know, guys. This one is a lot. They're long court days. B, they're short lunches, so there's not a ton of Zoom room. C, every everything in this trial is just a little bit strange. And I did that. I apologize, Chad. I put that out there. I was like, I love that everything is just run so smoothly. The attorneys have worked well together. They've worked well with the court. And then you put these lawyers in front of a jury and it's a whole different ball game. Some more noticeable than others. But yesterday we saw Attorney Ramos have a change up 100% in the style. And maybe we'll see that from the defense because there are times when they make good points. But sometimes those points get lost for me in the snark and the just kind of rudeness. It's wild. And then all the commentary. I mean, I think there's a balance between Massachusetts, where we saw Judge C. I worry to put that out there because I worry people will just fill in the blanks. But no, Judge C just going, you can say the word objection and nothing else. I mean, that's a little tough. You can have a speaking objection. If I need another sentence, I'll ask. But Your Honor, no, just absolutely not. Your Honor, no, what are we doing? That's a little much for me. Yes, I was exaggerating, but only barely. Your Honor, what are they doing? It's not going to work for me. We just need a little bit of a balance there for me. But yesterday we got into a lot of really important information. And I saw a few people being like, oh, this is boring. First of all, I thought yesterday was fascinating. My ears just got caught on my chair. I thought yesterday was fascinating. We got into the medical examiner, and I think the medical examiner did a great job staying exactly in her lane, like my job, not my job. And we see the groundwork being laid for a toxicologist. We saw what was in Eric Richins' stomach contents versus what had metabolized into his blood and what hadn't, including THC. And I think when we get to a toxicologist, we're going to see that there are some timing issues we need to know about that will give us an indication of how quickly he passed away. So that's going to be interesting. And then we got into the crime scene and I was just like, what do you mean? What do you mean that this wasn't even recovered until April? The gummies weren't recovered till April. And we saw a lot of objections yesterday. We have a lot more foundation to lay. Yes, foundation can take time. The prosecution's, I think, been doing a really methodical and excellent job laying foundation. Do you recognize this? Where did you get it from? Here it is. And whoever prepped the color-coded, you found this here on this day, is fantastic. I'm hoping that we will see more photos because seeing the scan with like the dots of this was found in the cabinet, great. But do we also have a photo of what was recovered in the cabinet? And can we see those too? So I'm hoping that this will continue to build, but it's been well organized and the foundation has just gone so much smoother than some other cases. It's just, do you recognize this? What did you do with it? Where did you get it from? How did you check it into evidence? And we saw some foundational issues argued yesterday. When the defense argues everything in the 400 series of the rules of evidence, 401, 402, 403, 404, 406, 408, one day we'll just pause and break those down. It's not today. It's preserving every single objection. It's just shorthand for character, for this, for that, foundation, all of it. It's just preserving every single evidentiary objection without saying them on the record. Well, I mean, saying them by number on the record without giving a diatribe about each one, if that makes sense. So what we need to do is we need to go to court. We need to go to court. We need to go to court. Are we ready to go to court? I think we're ready to go to court. Let's go to court. Hey there, I'm lawyer and legal analyst Emily D. Baker, and this is your go-to destination for live court coverage. I break down the law, the strategy, and the evidence in real time so you know what's happening. No law degree required. So join the law nerds in the chat. They're here for the facts, not and let's get to court. All right. Oh, that is supposed to be the court feed. I refreshed it and everything this morning, so it didn't happen again. And alas, it happened again. Why does that keep happening? I need to make a note and try to figure it out after stream. The problem is after stream has been so incredibly late that it's been tough, but I restarted it and everything this morning. I tried to anticipate the problem and negate the problem. And I anticipated the problem and negated the problem, and then the problem did not negate. Oh, well, what can we do? I guess they're not putting anything on the record this morning and the jury's just coming in. Okay, well, the jury's coming in. We're gonna just fly to court then if the jury's just coming in.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I guess the jury's just coming in.
All right,
so
please have a seat.
that's what we're
Good
doing.
morning. Thank you for your patience. We'll begin this morning with cross-examination of Ms.
They
Gipson.
did start just
Ms.
a
Gipson, you
touch
are
later
still
this
under
morning.
oath.
I never will criticize the
Very
court
good.
for
Ms.
starting
Nestor,
late because
please proceed.
God knows
Please
I need all the room.
support.
I
Good
spilled
morning.
something on my sweater.
Morning.
I need all the
Ms.
room in the
Gipson,
morning
you and I have
too.
met before, but just for purposes
cross-examination.
of the jury, again, my name is Kathy Nestor, and I do represent Kouri Richins
Why are we introducing ourselves to the jury again?
along with my co-counsel. So I wanted to start by just kind of revisiting what we discussed yesterday about your role in this case.
Okay.
So it's my understanding
We don't need to
that
revisit yesterday, do we?
You are.
Let me know where you're
for
coming in from, what you're
purposes of
drinking, chat.
Saying it an easy, non-lawyerly way, you're the evidence lady, right?
Yes.
So all the evidence that's in this case kind of comes under your purview, right?
Yes, it does.
And you're responsible for being told when it's located, right?
Correct.
If possible, photographing it where it's found.
Yes.
If not possible, then making a log of where you're told it was found.
I'm going to keep singing its log.
Keeping those logs, safe and secure.
Big, it's heavy, it's wood.
Right? Noting on the logs the day it was found, the location it was found, and by whom it was found.
Yes.
Making sure then that it's packaged
she
in
and
a
the
way
witness have met
that it
before 'cause
can't
they
be
interviewed
tampered
her.
with later.
Yes.
She said,
And then
we've met before.
storing the evidence in some way that is protected from the public or from tampering.
Yes.
And by the way, where do you
Oh, I don't mind
store
evidence
all
lady
of your
either.
evidence?
I don't
In our
mind
evidence room in the
evidence
sheriff's
lady.
office.
It's just
Here, just right across from this courthouse?
it categorizes.
And that room is locked,
Yes.
and only certain people have access to that room.
Correct.
And whenever anybody goes in or out of that
She's
room,
the
they have to
CSI.
sign in, right?
It's a key card access. Yes.
Okay.
So the key card logs.
And then
you don't have to sign.
Ultimately, your goal is
Fair.
throughout the investigation, if someone needs to look at something, they got to go through you, and you check it out and let them look at it and then check it back in.
Yes.
And then you also, the plan is at trial, you're going to come with a box and you're going to show it to the jury. Some things they may be able to see, some they may not. But ultimately, you're going to hand all that evidence over to the jury. Is that right?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay. Now, there is an exception for some types of evidence. For example, we've heard testimony in this trial about blood and bodily fluids.
what do we mean
and
exceptions?
samples of tissue. You don't maintain those, correct?
Correct.
Pardon me?
Correct. Just to clarify, we do have a few items from the medical examiner's office that are stored in evidence.
But not fluid of nature, right?
No.
Because most of that is maintained by the medical examiner's office, right?
Correct.
Or the labs where those
that sounds stuck
items
in my
were
head too.
shipped.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any other type of evidence that someone other than you has a hold of in this case?
Not that I know of.
So one of the pieces of evidence that you are responsible for gathering in this case included the 911 call. Is that right?
I believe so. Yes.
And tell us
So
what
she
you
got it
did
from dispatch?
to obtain that call.
I believe I was booked into evidence on a USB.
On a little thumb drive?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, when
And
Okay.
have you ever reviewed
Was she
the
keeping
USB
the
and made
evidence
sure
logs
that
then?
the
It sounds
call
like
was
she
in
was.
fact on it?
Yes.
And
Which-
you
they're laying foundation for the 911 call. CSIs don't always do that. It just depends on how things are set up at the police department as to whether the IO is in charge of the evidence, whether there's an evidence officer in charge, or whether the CSI is. And so whether or not the CSI is handling it is just different by department.
verified that that was a true and accurate copy of the call.
Yes.
All right. Your Honor, at this point, we would move to admit State's Exhibit 2-40, which is the 911 call in this case.
Is this, forgive me, just so I have context, this is the same as the one we've already heard?
I did a little snippet of it in my opening, but it has not come in yet.
Mr. Bloodworth?
Your Honor, it's Ms.
Oh, my apologies, Ms. Sherman.
That's all right, Your Honor. My objection is based on hearsay. Certainly, there are portions of that call that may be admissible by
Oh.
defense, but broad swaths of that, the state would object on the basis of hearsay.
Would you folks approve?
Sure.
Well, I mean, it's fair because there are some things in the 911 call that might be self-serving statements. The defense cannot introduce the defendant's own statements, especially if it's self-serving hearsay. The defense can argue completeness. And we saw some of these arguments made pre-trial. We saw some of this discussed in the Karen Reed case, but we didn't talk about it a ton because the defense was just like, it's fine. But completeness doesn't mean just because one snippet of a call comes in, all of it comes in. Completeness means that you have to have the context. You can't change the meaning of a sentence like you're on a fucking reality show with evidence. But if you have the entirety of the sentence, that's fine. Also, if there's statements by third parties like dispatch, those are hearsay. Those don't necessarily come in. Some of them come in for context, but not all the time. So it's really just going to depend. That makes sense? All right. Let's zoom through this sidebar while they're talking about if the whole 911 call is coming in. We knew they were laying foundation for that. They did play a snippet of it in opening. That's the sound of, a woman becoming a widow, or that's the sound of someone becoming a widow, or whatever the line was that may or may not work with the jury. I would have stayed on that a little longer if the court was talking to the prosecutor. Oftentimes the entire 911 comes in. So we'll see. Thank you. Amy Dean in the chat said, wife becoming a widow. Thank you. I had forgotten the exact, I was like, line. And chat was like, I've got you. I've got you. Line. All right. There's still a sidebar. Just, I withdraw everything I said this morning about not having a lot of Zoom room. I don't know what's on the entire 911. I don't know how long it is, but that's it. Bella in the chat said, how does the jury not hear the sidebars? I think that was a great question. They have like white noise in speakers. And so sometimes when they go up to sidebars, you can hear it go, ksh, but they have white noise up above the jury box that's pretty loud. And then they speak fairly low, which is also hard because sometimes depending on how high the bench is, especially if you're, an attorney my height or shorter, there were times in LA where some of the benches were quite high and you would just be like, Your Honor, what? So sometimes depending on the layout of the courtroom, we would go to where like the judge would step down off the bench and go literally to the side of the bench and talk. Kind of like they did in Adelson, where you saw them sometimes step down off of the entire bench, go to the side and talk. But yes, the jury, it is awkward. The jury looks oftentimes intently at body language and what the judge is saying because they're just sitting there and they're just like,
Whether you
okay, that took a
I
minute.
don't recall off the top of my head, no.
That was a long sidebar.
receipt or preservation of the 911.
Do you recall?
Oh. Oh, this might be under advisement till there's something else here. Okay.
Any other questions about foundation related to Ms. Gibson's receipt or preservation of the 911?
Do you recall who you received the 911 call from?
I don't recall off the top of my head, no.
Do you know whether you downloaded it
I
yourself
bet she
off
didn't.
of a county database?
I bet she
I
didn't.
wouldn't have access to that. That would only be one of the supervisors in dispatch.
Dispatchers.
So one of the dispatch people gave you the thumb drive?
I don't know how it got from dispatch to me. It was booked into a locker, I believe,
And what is that?
on our evidence locker. So when
Okay,
it's booked
so
into the sheriff's
she
office,
had
if a deputy booked.
This is the foundational issue. The judge heard the objection. The objection's preserved. There's a foundational issue here. I said it's weird that a CSI would be doing this because she didn't. Someone downloaded the 911 onto a thumb drive. She got the thumb drive and booked it into evidence and listened to it, but we don't know who downloaded it. However, are you telling me that the state doesn't think that's the authentic 911? However, if you are going to do things like we're not agreeing to foundation for tech evidence, you live by the sword, you died by the sword. And I wonder what else is on there. I wonder what else they're objecting to, because there's more than that. But live by the sword, die by the sword, man.
It typically goes into the temporary locker where they drop the key and then we collect it.
Is that what happened in this case? A deputy dropped it off?
I believe so.
Casey Cat, we heard
How
it
do
in
you
opening.
typically in other
It's not in
cases
evidence
gather
yet.
the 911 called for evidence purposes?
It's either that way. Sometimes I will personally request it if the detective asks me to.
Just because it came into opening
But either way, it's just
doesn't
taken
mean
from
it's going to be in
the
evidence.
dispatch center and booked into evidence.
So once that thumb drive got into your evidence room, it was maintained safe the way
They can get it in through dispatch. That's just a different witness.
that we've just talked about with all your other evidence, right?
I believe so, yes.
So there's no reason to believe that the 911 call that you have would have been tampered with in any way.
Correct.
Okay. I think that's it, Your Honor, unless the court thinks I need more. Okay. We're going to come back to the 911 call later in the trial. Okay?
We're going to need another witness, but also
Court's indulgence for just a minute.
Of course.
we can see a couple of you have asked, what's this line of questioning? I'm going to put this at 1.25. It was all foundation for the 911 call. What did you do with it? How did you book it into evidence? How was it preserved? But who downloaded it matters. It's going to just have to come in through another witness. So Lucy said, did that sound like a threat? No, it's just letting the jury know, hey, we're going to come back to this.
As another
Like,
part of your
don't worry.
duties.
I have no problem with that question. It's telling the jury, hey, there's nothing wrong here. We're going to come back to it. We're going to circle back. It closes the loop. That doesn't bother me.
And I want to use our language really carefully here. So if you could match my language, that would be helpful.
Uh-oh.
As another part of your duties, and I want to use our language really carefully here. So if you could match my language, that would be helpful. Okay.
What are we treading into that
Were
you
there
don't want to
calls
tread into?
between Ms. Richins and her family that
Oh.
you obtained recordings of
Jail
Can you
calls.
clarify?
on about a weekly basis? There.
Okay, we're treading. Would this witness do that? The match my language is fine. Again, here's I guess we're going to have to just explain. Okay, here's what's going on. Did you obtain calls between Kouri Richins and her family? Kouri had a lot of jail calls that were downloaded. The jury does not know that Kouri Richins is in custody. Remember how much we tap danced around the FBI in the Karen Reed case? Right. We did a lot of tap dancing around the FBI and certain things in the Karen Reed case. So we need to talk about this carefully, A, is something that could have happened before court. B, it's something they could have approached the judge with and be like, hey, I want to ask the witness. Can you advise the witness? C, it's something they probably could have stipulated to. They chose not to do any of that. Here we are. But the jury does not know Kouri Richins is in custody. The jury's not going to know those are jail calls. But here's the problem. You also don't want the jury to think that like they're illegally wiretapping Kouri Richins. Are you recording calls with her and her family? Some of the jury might be like, why are you wiretapping her? That's sus. However, the prosecution has other witnesses that's going to come in through. I don't know why she's treading into this with this witness. Because A, you can stipulate, because those come from the sheriff's department, from the jail. And so I don't know why we're trying to tread this water with this witness. Because with other witnesses, you won't have to parse it again. Did you recover these calls? Yes. So is it normal for the jury to not know a defendant's in custody? Yes. It is very normal. It's why they are dressed in civilian clothes. It's why there are, the tables have table skirts on them so you can't see the ankle chains on an in custody defendant. Courts go a very long way to not lead the jury to an improper perception like, oh, that person's in jail oranges and handcuffs, must be guilty. But this is a tenuous area for cross. So yes, this is an interesting question for cross. You guys had a lot of good questions this morning. I hope that helps. If any of you are still having issues with the chat, go ahead and refresh. We saw some of that yesterday too. So we'll have to just wait and see. But defense attorney Nestor might just be going out of order with some of these witnesses and might just need to wait.
For a while, were you downloading calls between Kouri Richins and her family?
Are you talking about jail calls?
Your Honor, move to strike and need to approach.
Well, shit. Keep fucking reading, Emily. Damn it.
Basis there for a while. Were you downloading calls between
Fuck.
Kouri Richins?
Shit. Just keep reading. Just keep reading. God. What is happening this morning? Oh my God. I was just trying to match my language, Miss Nestor, because you have burned your good faith with the chat so much that we have to answer the questions that in some areas, this isn't weird.
On about a weekly basis there for a while, were you downloading calls between Kouri Richins?
I just backed it up.
Are you talking about jail calls?
Your Honor, move to strike and need to approach.
Oh, she's going to be pissed about that. Well, everything I said about jail calls is true. I'm sure Miss Nestor is upset that it came in that Kouri Richins had jail calls. I don't understand why she's treading into this with this witness. And this witness is like, what are you talking about? Because this witness is also not wiretapping the defendant, and downloading calls between the defendant and her family could very much be wiretapping. Tickling the wires. And so the witness is like, can you clarify? She didn't clarify. She just repeated the same question. And so I'm sure Miss Nestor is like, Your Honor, they can't know that she's in custody. This is a huge problem for us. I don't know why we didn't just ask the judge about this before y'all came into court today and stipulate. All right. That's why she said match my language.
There are legal issues that come up that I need. At the time, there are legal issues that come up that I need to discuss with the attorneys at sidebar. This will happen throughout the course of the trial. There's no particular significance to any one of them. Second, please do not consider or speculate at any time during this case or during your deliberations about whether the defendant was or is in custody or was in custody at any time. That is not evidence of anything. You cannot consider that issue for any reason. Ms. Nestor, please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Look at how reasonable the court is. Ladies and gentlemen, don't hold the sidebars against the defense. Ladies and gentlemen, don't speculate. Just don't speculate about it. It's a curative instruction. It might highlight it more, but it's a curative instruction.
All right. There was a time where you downloaded HomeWave calls. Is that correct?
Yes.
Right.
HomeWave is the system that's used in custody. However, when the witness said, "Can you clarify?" why didn't you just say HomeWave then?
And those calls, when you would download them, you preserved those calls in the same way that you did all the other evidence, right?
Correct.
So it was kept in the evidence locker. No one could tamper with it or alter it.
Correct.
And some of those calls, there were transcripts made. Were you involved in the making of the transcripts of those calls?
No, I was not.
Okay, thank you.
Sometimes ask whose job it's not backfires.
So
And that's
I'd
what
like
we
to
just
go
watched.
through with you, kind of a timeline, I guess is the best word for it.
We're on
Of your
1.25
activities on
speed.
this case, and I'm not going to retread what Ms. Shervanak already covered with you. I'm going to try to talk about things that she didn't cover. So
Really?
we don't exhaust the jury, okay?
Okay.
So I want to talk first about the night of
We've exhausted the chat.
Mr. Richins' death.
But the
when
judge is
you
just-
arrived on the scene.
Again, I think in a different type of case, it might matter more. Do any of you think that someone who's on trial for an aggravated murder might be out of custody? Is anyone sitting there going, "Oh, she's probably going home at the end of the night and sleeping at her own bed"? No. And I also think that, in the year of our Lord 2026, I also don't think that everybody's sitting there going, "Oh, you were arrested. You must 100% be guilty." Some people might. But I think once they're asked to be on a jury, those people are like, "Okay, well, let's see what the state can prove." Jurors take their job seriously.
When you arrived on the scene, you did mention there were already people present. Is that right?
Correct.
When you were there, were
Chat's
they
like,
still
"No, but she's
conducting
super
CPR,
rich."
or had they ceased their
Right.
efforts to try to revive Mr. Richins?
They were not working on him, no.
Right.
So at that point, you knew this was going to be a death scene, right?
Correct.
Okay. And was there somebody on the scene that was giving you tasks to complete, or were you just using your best judgment on what you needed to do while you were there?
I was there to assist Detective Woody.
So Detective Woody was the individual that kind of told you what she needed from you at the scene.
Correct.
And when you first arrived, what was it that she said she needed your assistance with?
I don't recall her exact words, but to assist in documenting the bedroom.
And you did that, right?
Correct.
Okay. And one of the pictures that you took was admitted yesterday. Just a minute. For purposes of the family, this is going to be a photograph of Mr. Richins' body under the sheet in case they'd like to step out.
Look, there are things Nestor has done. That was a mean pause. There are things Nestor has done in this trial that frustrate me as well. However, giving a heads up that the photos are going to include the decedent is fair. It's fair. I've seen prosecutors not do it in some of the trials we've watched, and it frustrates me then. It's fair. If you're going to put something up that might be upsetting, it's fair to give a heads up. It is. And I appreciate that she did.
Can we pull up Exhibit 1-7 that was admitted yesterday and publish it, please? I don't, oh, yeah.
Any objection, Mr. Ray?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll publish that now.
Detective Woody
Okay.
is the lead
And this is a
detective. I don't
picture
know
that
if
you
it's
testified
spelled like
yesterday
we're
that
in
you
Toy
took.
Story.
Is that right? That morning?
Correct.
But
All right. Above the head of Mr. Richins, under the bed, there is a crumpled up sheet. Do you see that?
Yes.
And if you look directly above it to the mattress, this is one of those beds. I'm guessing it's one of those adjustable beds that's divided in the middle.
Yes.
But you can see that there is a sheet on the mattress that's the furthest to the bottom of the picture. And there's not a sheet on the mattress closest to the window. Is that right?
Correct.
And do you have an understanding of why there was no sheet on that mattress?
Yes.
What is your understanding of that?
My understanding was dispatch had instructed Kouri Richins to do CPR on Eric Richins and was then instructed to try to get him on a flatter surface for CPR. In order to do that, especially with a male, they're typically larger in weight, and so she instructed her to pull off the sheet in order to get him off the bed.
So in other words, can't lift the body because it's literally dead weight, right?
Yes.
And so the idea
Ma'am.
is to undo the sheet from the bed and then pull him down to the ground where you could do CPR on a flat surface.
Correct.
And is that because, I mean, I don't even know if you know, is it not successful to do CPR if you're on a cushy surface because you go up and down, right?
Yeah, it's typically a little bit harder on the person.
Okay. All right. And is it your understanding that the sheet that's crumpled up under the mattress that has no sheet on it, that's the sheet that he was pulled to the ground on?
I believe so.
Right. And did you examine that sheet before it was put into evidence?
I don't recall how much I examined it, but I looked at it.
Do you still have that sheet in evidence?
Yes, we do.
And is there any blood on that sheet?
I believe there was on this.
So if there was testimony here by EMTs that blood did not start coming out until after the EMTs were there, is it fair to assume that the sheet was under Mr. Richins when the EMTs were working on him?
No.
Can you rephrase?
Ask the EMTs.
Let me
Stop
ask this
asking
way.
whose job
Why
it's
did
not.
you feel that that was
Ask-
an important piece of evidence to gather and keep?
Because you never know.
Because it was where he died on.
Perfect. That's what I needed. Thank you.
Because he was in the bed. It's the sheet from the bed.
You can take that down, Katie. Thank you. You also, I believe, said that you photographed other areas of the bedroom, right?
Yes.
And one of the photographs that you took, I believe, was the photograph of the nightstand, which was Exhibit 1-9. Can we please publish that to the jury? Exhibit 1-9. It was admitted yesterday, Your Honor. Oh, thank you. I gotta get a screen on this thing. Okay, and that's the picture that you took as well, right?
Correct.
Now, when you took that picture, there's a wallet on the nightstand.
Yes.
Do you know how that wallet got there?
I believe it was placed there. I don't recall who placed it. It was there when I arrived, but I was told that it was retrieved from the kitchen.
So, is it fair to say then that anything under that wallet that might have been residue on the nightstand could have been altered or changed by placing the wallet on the stand that night?
Not by just placing the wallet on top of an object.
Did you ever pick up the wallet and photograph what was underneath it?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
You did pick up, and where's that photograph?
I believe OME Sessions documented that.
Okay.
Shakia, every single time we see the dog man
And did you
bucket
open
hurts
the
my
drawers
heart.
and photograph what was
It
in
really
the drawers
does.
of the nightstand?
I don't believe so, no.
Were you aware at that point that a hydrocodone bottle had been removed from one of the drawers?
I didn't know where it had come from, and it was taken with the decedent.
She wasn't there yet.
So you did not take the hydrocodone bottle into your custody.
No, it went in the
Did
body
you
bag.
open it and photograph the inside of it?
I believe that was OME Sessions.
So you can't testify whether there were pills in it or not at the time.
No, I cannot.
Did you ever recover that pill bottle back?
No, we did not.
I thought that was one of the pill bottles you introduced yesterday. Not?
No.
That was a different hydrocodone bottle?
Which hydrocodone?
I don't know if there was a hydrocodone bottle
So
yesterday.
yesterday you introduced a packet, and you remember we came up and you were trying to untape the bottle and looked in one of them, but there was another pill bottle with that one.
Those
Where
were all
taken
Kouri's.
Fits in that same packaging from the master bedroom, the master bathroom, like linen closet area.
from? Okay, so the hydrocodone bottle you introduced yesterday was found in the bathroom.
That misstates the evidence.
Would you lay some more foundation, Ms. Nestor?
How do you know where it was found?
She found.
I was there that day, and it was found in the.
I hate the acting confused. I don't think she's actually confused. I think she's trying to confuse this witness because the pill bottles that came into court yesterday, for everybody just joining us today, no worries. We'll do our best to catch you up. And there's always the there's always the case briefs that are out in the morning. We send you a notification in the Lawnard app. But yesterday, what came in were the bottles of Kouri's prescriptions that were recovered in April. And we saw the new unboxing cam, the overhead, we're going to open packs of Pokemon cards camera yesterday in court. And those bottles were from Kouri. The bottles from March 3rd, the OME packaged and sent with Eric Richins, and those were recovered by different police officers that morning and then put on the dresser and stuff. And then the OME photographed those and took those. Two different things.
Bathroom.
Okay.
And when you say
but-
I'm gonna slow this down and see if just see what the confusion is.
That misstates the evidence.
Would you lay some more foundation, Ms. Nestor?
How do you know where it was found?
I was there that day,
Which
and it was
one are we talking about,
found
though?
in the bathroom.
Okay.
And when you say
but-
it, for my benefit.
I need clarification.
Yeah,
It's not
could
clear
we, I need,
Okay.
I'm having pronoun trouble here.
Let's
You
do
be
this.
specific about which.
The judge, can we please specify what the fuck we're talking about? There's like 10 pill bottles, 17,000 phones. God, I love this judge.
Item you're referring to.
Let's make it really easy. Let's pull your package out because you still got them with you,
Yes,
right?
I do.
You got your box. Okay. Let's pull out package number.
They're not packages if they're evidence bags, ma'am. We're not picking up a 6-pack in Massachusetts. We're not packages.
She'll find it.
We're not talking
National.
packages.
I'm looking. Yes.
Oh,
Okay. May I approach Your Honor just for a minute? I have
Yeah, of course.
is now the time to tell you guys about the time I went to go see evidence in an evidence lockup with a defense attorney that had similar vibes to Nestor. And when we got into the evidence, the officer pulled out the things that had been recovered from the client. It was meth. It was just meth. And the defense attorney started looking at, they pulled out the sealed evidence bags, and the defense attorney wanted to look at it and started poking it on the table and breaking it into pieces. I have never been so mad in my, there's a few times I've been so mad in my life, but I was sitting there going, what the fuck are you doing? I have like it was on the table and he started pushing it.
Okay.
So I get
So that was my.
that life experience has made me so sus when people are like, oh no, let me see it. Because I have had to deal with people doing that with nefarious purposes. I don't think every defense attorney does that. The problem is the one time it happens. The one time it happens. Makes me so mad. So then when they were like pulling the tape off of stuff yesterday, I was like, no.
My bad. I got the bottles mixed up. So the bottle you just looked at was something called monocycline or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And that was a prescription.
I feel like we just need to clock it. Put a timestamp. She apologized and said, my bad.
Okay. So that was my bad. I got the bottles mixed up. So the bottle you just looked at was something called monocycline or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And that was
Also, I
a
love this
prescription for
witness's
Ms. Richins.
olive shirt.
Okay. So those were found in the bathroom.
Yes.
And that includes the
This happened yesterday too. Yesterday, the whole, are we going to talk about the altered document? And the judge is like, what date? What date are we talking about? And then she said the date, and the court's like, these are not the two same things. And then we never heard about it again.
quetiapine.
Correct.
Thank you.
I'm going to pronounce the Seroquel wrong every single time. Quetiapine? My brain is not going to wrap around.
The quetiapine.
Quetiapine. Correct.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, and those were found in the bathroom.
Correct.
And where was the quetiapine bottle found?
It was in one of the baskets that was in.
Peen I will get. Thank you, chat. Yes, peen. The one with the peen? Peen I will remember. Chat, you know me so well.
That linen closet in the master bathroom.
So what happened to the hydrocodone bottle that was sent with the body of the decedent?
It's under the medical examiner's office protocol to keep that until they're done.
So you don't have that bottle.
I do not know.
So all we have is a picture of that bottle.
Correct.
So it has never been taken for testing by you to anyone.
Correct.
This is a good line of questioning. I'm not mad at this line of questioning. I think it's going to backfire, but this is a good line of questioning. Ask whose job it's not. Notice that no one on the defense team, just put an asterisk, no one on the defense team asked the investigator for the coroner's office, who's already testified. No one asked the investigator for the coroner's office, did you open these up, send them out for testing, all of that? She didn't ask them. They're asking this witness, whose job it's not.
So if there was fentanyl residue in that empty pill bottle from 2016, we won't know it because you never took it to be tested, right?
It's not her job.
I was never given the bottle, no.
Okay. While you were there that day,
But did you see what she's
you also
doing?
did not take any photos of the kitchen. Is that right?
Doubt.
Correct.
Doubt.
And
doubt.
you did not take any photos of the kitchen sink
Correct.
or what was in it.
Correct.
And you did not take into your custody any items that were in the kitchen sink. Is that right?
Correct.
And you also did not take any pictures of the closet.
Correct.
And later, we've had pictures be introduced. When you did your Matterport walkthrough, we saw an image of a green jacket where the gummies were kind of sticking out of a pocket. That green jacket, you can't say whether that was there the day that you were there or not.
I cannot. And just to clarify, I did take, I think, 2 photos of the closet, just not that side of the closet.
Okay. So you took photos of, and I'm using this from my experience, but in my house, there's a woman's side.
I don't want to know about your closet, Miss Nestor. Also, I would have preferred if this witness, when they are going to recover something, just take a picture of what you're going to recover, take a close-up picture, then recover it. But it seems that they did with that green jacket because we saw the pictures of the gummies in the pocket.
Of the closet, which is much bigger.
Let's hear about Kathy Nestor's closet.
Just to clarify, I did take, I think, 2 photos of the closet, just not that side of the closet.
Okay. So you took photos of, and I'm using this from my experience, but in my house, there's a woman's side of the closet, which is much bigger, and a very small man's side of the closet. Is that the way it was set up in Ms. Richins' house?
I don't recall.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you also did not go inside the cabinet over the toilet when you were taking pictures of the bathroom and open the cabinet and see if there were gummies in there, did you?
I did not.
Coco, now I'm singing. I want to talk about me. I want to talk about I want to talk about
Also,
number one.
there
Oh,
was a
my, me,
picture
my.
that
Yes.
has come
What I
in
think, what I like,
in
what
your
I want.
Matterport
No, I got one of those
where
on.
there was a little dot
What I want, what I
above the
think, what I like, what I
refrigerator
know.
Said that some gummies in a clear plastic.
I like talking about you usually. But occasionally, I want to talk about me.
Bag were found, right?
Correct.
And you didn't go above the kitchen and open that cabinet and take any pictures that morning.
No, I did not. You're referring to the morning of the death.
Correct.
Correct.
Thank you for helping me be specific. I'll try to keep my dates straight.
No, you
So-
won't.
Since you were personally the one who knows where every single thing was found, isn't it true that all the gummies, with the exception of the gummies that were found in the jacket in the closet, were all stored high up where children would not be able to reach them?
Calls for speculation.
I believe so, yes.
All right. Just 1 second. I think we're going to move to another day.
I know there's a lot of commentary in court.
Oh, you
I feel very
mentioned when you
threatened.
were
I'm teasing.
describing
I'm
paraphernalia
teasing.
that you
But
did not see any paraphernalia.
Why is there so
that
much
day. Is that
commentary?
right?
I don't know.
The day of the death?
Yes.
Correct.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm going to get better.
You're
The
fine.
day
You're
of the
good.
death.
Correct.
And you mentioned paraphernalia as things that we might be familiar with, which would be like,
Yeah, I agree with all of you. I think asking for speculation about what the kids can get to and what the kids can't get to is strange. Also, if you have a safe in the bedroom, why not just lock it in there? Oh, no, Emily, that's a bad idea. No, that's a bad idea because if there's no medical prescription, this would still be illegal in Utah, right? And having guns and drugs in the same place can be an additional crime. And actually, even if the guns are legal, a more enhanced crime if there's drugs with the guns. Fair. I'm sorry. My brain went to Californian, which is just like, why do we care about any of this? I'm so unfussed by the weed. I'm so unfussed. So unfussed by the weed.
Bongs or vape pens or scales or little baggies you would put drugs in or something like that, right?
Correct.
Things that would store drugs.
Correct.
Is it possible that if someone had, in your
Drugs plus guns
experience,
equals
when you've
additional
been to
charge and
scenes,
higher charge generally.
have you experienced where people put pills in different bottles than what the bottle actually says they are when they're illicit drugs?
Are you talking about like prescription bottles? Yes.
So if you saw an empty prescription bottle near the body that had expired 6 years before, could that possibly be paraphernalia? If it was used to store illicit drugs?
If it was used to store illicit drugs, it could be considered.
Why?
Okay, thank you.
What are we doing?
You also, that day of the death, you did not go upstairs at all, correct?
Correct.
You also did not go downstairs.
Correct.
Since then, you've walked through, viewed, videoed, measured this whole entire house. You're aware now that there's a kitchen downstairs, right?
Correct.
And are you also aware that there was liquor stored downstairs?
I was not.
Did you notice in all these tours that you did and videos that there was an actual beer fridge downstairs filled with beer?
Huh?
On the day of the Matterport,
Ma'am, did you go downstairs? No. Did you know there was a kitchen down there? No. Did you know that there was beer down there? No. She already said she didn't go down there. So if she didn't go down there, then objection calls for speculation. I would start objecting.
or which day we were.
Any day you were there.
I don't recall.
Did you notice there was liquor bottles in the cabinet in the kitchen downstairs?
I believe there were some. I'm not sure about how many, though.
Did you ever photograph any of those?
If I did, it would have been in my overall photographs.
Also, the day
It is their job to raise doubt. And I think what we're going to get to with raising doubt is, what if one of these liquor bottles had fentanyl in it? Oops. I think there's a lot of digital evidence that's going to belie that, but
of the death, when you were taking photographs, did you photograph anything in the kitchen trash?
No, I didn't photograph the kitchen.
trash.
Did you notice anything set around the kitchen? For example,
We're gonna be talking about the trash a lot, it
limes
seems.
Or drink mixes or anything on the counter. Did you notice any of that?
I didn't enter the kitchen.
Never even went in it.
No.
Thank you for clarifying that. Then I won't waste my time with more questions about the kitchen.
It's not about the
okay.
pasta. Sure, counsel.
So let's move now to the next time that you were in that house, which my understanding would have been April the 13th.
Carrie in the chat, you're being logical.
right,
They're just trying to throw up the spaghetti.
And what
It
was
is
the
about
reason you were
pasta.
there?
We were there to serve a search warrant.
And this is going to seem like a silly question, but I need to make the record. So when you all execute a warrant of a home, do you tell the people in advance, hey, FYI, we're going to be at your house at 9 and we're going to be searching everything you own? Do you do that?
I don't.
Look, there are times I find Nestor's style very off-putting. This is not a secret. This is a good line of questioning. It's a good line of questioning. Like her style, don't like her style. It's a good line of questioning. Because if there are any jurors sitting there going, oh my God, she must have gone back and planted the weed gummies because she knew they were going to come back and search, it starts to close that circle. She didn't know. She didn't know they were going to come back and search. She wasn't staging it. They just missed it the first time. Fair.
No.
As a matter of fact, it's important for searches to be done well and done professionally, that the person not know they're coming, right?
Correct.
And you guys actually take pretty extreme steps
I just dropped
to
my
make
pen.
sure the person's not tipped off that you're about to search their entire house, right?
Correct, but you Just to clarify, I am not law enforcement officer. I'm not sworn, so that's up to the detectives.
Right.
I appreciate you making that distinction. I will not suggest otherwise. But you are certainly a critical part of the search process, right?
Correct.
And why is that?
I'm there to document everything and photograph, collect anything of
I'll be back.
importance.
I lost
So
my pen.
really, I mean, you're like the hub of the whole search, right? Like everything's coming to you that they find in that house.
Correct.
All right. So I know you're not a sworn officer. Maybe you don't carry a gun, but you sure are important to the search process.
Correct.
Okay. So knowing that and knowing your role, you would never tip someone off that you were coming to.
I was trying to give it not a rude pause, and then I keep screwing it up. So what makes a special agent special? We're getting there. We're getting there.
Search through all their personal belongings, would you?
No.
BRB.
And is there any
pen.
reason that you all believe that Ms. Richins knew in advance you guys were coming to her house?
Well, let's find out if she has any knowledge.
It does call for speculation. It does. It
I would
does.
just ask like a more precise question. I think and I'm not picking on Ms. Nestor, but I think it was you all, and I think we just need a little more.
Can we just limit the
Detail.
question to
Yes.
Ms. Gibson?
It's a Southern thing.
Yeah.
Y'all is just in my
Okay.
I'm
my
not
blood.
picking on her. I just wanted to be clear.
Ma'am, you cannot stare down Judge M and be like, no. And then be like, oh, but Your Honor, it's just, I'm just a simple country lawyer, Your Honor. We have seen more I'm just a simple country lawyering in Utah than we've seen anywhere else in this country. I'm just a simple country lawyer, Your Honor. Okay. I grew up listening to 90s country, and I say y'all. That doesn't make me Southern. I mean, Southern California, maybe it counts. I did move to Tennessee. Because Chad has advised me that court's on an extended break. We're gonna get caught up to real time real quick, actually. Remind me to tell you the most Nashville story ever when we get to a break.
I'll try not to
Would
say
you
y'all.
We're gonna have a minute.
restate the question and limit it to
You can't just be so rude and then be like, sorry, Your Honor. But here's the reason it's a problem, and the reason the defense doesn't care if it's a problem. It muddies the waters. Who searched and who did what? Oh, did you all do this? Is making the witness answer for everybody. And oftentimes we've seen defense attorneys double down on law enforcement. We saw this with, was it Buchanan? It was like, we did this, we did that. And it's like, what did you do? What did your partner do? And when they answer, we did, it just mitigates. It's like, oh, it was either me or them. It's embiggening the issue. So it gets confused.
Not picking on Ms. Nestor, but I think it was you all, and I think we just need a little more.
Can we just limit the
Detail.
question to
Yes.
Ms. Gibson?
It's a Southern thing.
Yeah.
Y'all is just in my
Okay.
I'm
my
not
blood.
picking on her. I just wanted to be clear.
I'll try not to
Would
say
you
y'all.
restate the question and limit it to this witness?
I am happy to. I will try to keep y'all out of my vocab, but it's hard. It's deep in there. Did you have any reason to know
It's literally in too deep.
that Ms. Richins either suspected there was a search coming or knew there was a search coming?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. So what steps did you, not y'all, what step did you take to prepare to go to that house that morning on the 13th?
If you switch up to
I just
use,
made
I'm
sure I
going to
had
lose
enough
my mind.
Equipment to bring to the home, whether it be packaging, tape, property seizure forms, stuff like that.
Was there a debriefing prior where all the officers and you talked about how you were going to approach the home, how you were going to approach Ms. Richins, what the plan was once you got there?
I believe there was a briefing beforehand, yes.
Did you attend that briefing?
I don't recall, but I believe I was in there for part of it.
And how many officers were planning on being at that search, to your recollection?
I couldn't put a number on it. I'm not sure.
Rough estimate of how many people were in that debrief.
I'd say at least 5.
Okay. And when you all got to the scene, did you drive your own vehicle?
No, I drove a evidence van.
And how many police cars do you remember being at the scene that morning or throughout that day?
Y'all, Pittsburgh is representing in the chat right now. We got some very highly regional specific plurals in here. It's fantastic. It's like dude, singular plural, it's fine. Dude is just dude. You don't even do dudes, dude. But lots and lots of y'all in the chat. Okay, I'm trying to follow where we're going with this line of questioning. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
I don't recall. I'd say at least a couple.
When you arrived on the scene, was Ms. Richins in the home?
I don't believe so, no.
Did
She
she at
wasn't.
some point return to the home, or were you not even involved in that process?
I don't believe I was involved
They're
in that
talking about
process.
May 8th.
So you never even saw her that day?
I don't believe so.
At any point were you asked to go check on the items that were in her vehicle when she was stopped that day?
No.
So you don't know what was in her truck the day that she was pulled over?
She knows what she
No.
was given, I'm sure.
And no one ever asked you to like say, hey, these items were in the truck where she was removed from during our search?
I don't believe it. So, and just to clarify, you're referring to the April 13th.
Yes, all these questions are the 13th
Okay.
until I switch, okay?
I was so confused. I was really confused. I thought she was talking about May 8th. I just said it out loud. So we're still talking about April 13th. I'm really glad that the witness clarified because I was getting confused. Then again, I'm very amused by chat, and we've had some really good points of this cross, though chat's allowed to find the off-putting nature of the cross as you will. I'm not going to tell you to feel differently. You're valid. But there have been some good questions tying back that Kouri wasn't like staging the weed gummies. Wait, did she really wink at her? Okay, I'll back it up.
No.
And no one ever asked you to like say, hey, these items were in the truck where she was removed from during our search?
I don't believe it. So, and just to clarify, you're referring to the April 13th.
Yes, all these questions are the 13th until I switch, okay?
Oh yeah, totally.
So no one
Just
asked
like
you to inventory any of the items in her personal vehicle.
just right on in there.
Did the search warrant cover the vehicles in the house?
I believe
Just is at this point.
there were 2 vehicles inside the garages that were included. I'm unaware. I wasn't part of that part of the search during her stop, so I'm unaware.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you remember the weather that day?
It was winter. It was cold.
Shit,
It
was
was
it
really
snowing?
cold,
Yeah.
Snow on the ground?
Damn it!
Remember when we used to have snow in Park City?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
The jury laughed at that. The jury laughed at that. What kind of snow was it? Could you track a cat by the snow? How much? The jury laughed at that. I'm going to back it up. They did.
Do you remember the weather that day?
It was winter. It was cold.
It was really cold, right?
Yeah.
Snow on the ground. Remember when we used to have snow in Park City?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Just because these questions are interesting, if you're listening in the background, come back. Watch how pleased Miss Lewis is with the jury's reaction to that. Watch how pleased Miss Lewis is. Mr. Bloodworth gives no fucks, but Miss Lewis is delighted. And for those of you that hit bingo on day 3 of this trial, I mean, we now have snow. We need high top tables though.
Cold.
It was really cold, right?
Yeah.
Snow on the ground. Remember when we used to have snow in Park City?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right. How long were you at the house that day? The 13th.
I mean, April
Believe we were
13th
there for
isn't
about a half
winter,
day.
but
We were
it
there
could
for
be
several
cold.
hours.
Was there also a member there at the home on that day from the U.S. Postal Service that you can recall?
Yes.
What's his name?
Believe it's Smoot.
What?
Agent Smoot.
Snoot or smoot? Are we booping the snoot? We have booped the snoot? How is this happening? Is it smoot? Snoot. Smoot? Smoot. I think it is smoot. Boop the smoot. No, Agent Smoot would not like that.
Believe it's Smoot.
Right. Agent Smoot. Why was Agent Smoot there? What was your understanding of his role at the search?
My understanding was pursuant to the search warrant, they were looking for anything that could have been mailed to the house that would have contained drugs or paraphernalia.
Right. And Mr. Smoot works for the Postal Service, so he would be looking for things that were mailed, right?
Correct.
Like
Fun
illegal
fact.
drugs.
Yes.
Okay. And to your
Fun fact. The U.S. Postal Service inspectors, their emails are actually USPIS. Emily, did it make you laugh every single time? Yes, I worked at a courthouse very near the airport. I worked with U.S. Postal and inspectors and investigators regularly. But yes, USPIS always made me giggle. Every single time I'm a child.
knowledge, did he ever give you any that day to check into evidence, anything that was an illegal drug or a postage that looked like it was connected to illegal drugs?
Not that I ever recall.
All right.
You'd be surprised what people mail through the mail
Was it your understanding?
and how illegal it can be.
I just need some napkins. Sorry.
Oh,
Oh, did she spill her water? Oh, no.
I have a scheduling conflict at 9:30. Is this an appropriate place
sure.
to pause?
Sure is.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is no fault of the attorneys. I have an unavoidable scheduling conflict from 9:30 to 10:30. We didn't want to lose all of that time this morning. We have gotten as much done as we could. We're going to take a recess.
Your Honor,
Fair reminder, please don't talk
could you have told us yesterday? I would have started an hour later. I am tired. Your Honor, I would have started later.
about this case or anything related to it. You are free to talk about everything else. Current events, your family's sports, whether the Spurs are actually going to make it to the finals. That's all fair game.
Your Honor, you're allowed to be charming.
But please, no talking about this
You can't
case.
talk about the snow.
You are allowed to use your personal devices during this recess, but do not use them to post about the case or to do any research, and please avoid any social media or other reports about the case during that time. Thank you for your patience. I promise we'll get back on the record as soon as we can. Please rise for the jury.
Okay, a number of you asked this morning about Kouri Richins' clothes in court. Those would either be provided by the defense or her family. I would guess that Kouri Richins' mother is bringing things for her to court. Her mom's allowed to do that, and then she can change in the lockup in the back before she comes
Folks, have a
into
seat,
court.
please.
But
Ms. Gipson,
there are
during
some
this break,
restrictions on that.
we'll
They have to be
conduct-
approved.
You are proverbially still on stand. Please isolate yourself. Don't confer with anyone. Okay. The court is in recess until 10:30. Thank you for your time.
So she doesn't get a lot of choice in that. All right, I'm gonna switch real quick. I'm gonna put us on real time, and then I'm just gonna put the court up because in theory they should be back pretty shortly. They're not back yet, but they should be back pretty quickly. So we'll see. We're caught up to real time, and let me just make sure I've got this up. And then we'll answer some questions. We'll chat just a bit. I imagine the court's going to take a really short lunch because of it. So we'll see. That's not what I anticipated. That's not what I anticipated. All right, we have a few Nashville stories for you guys. So give me 1 second. Let me put this. Emily, just put it somewhere. Chat. I know. I need like a third option where I can just put the court banner up and make it easier. I don't have a third option. I should. But we don't. All right. We'll just leave it like that. Actually, you know what I can do? Hold on. You know what we can do? Emily, you're now just wanting to move it. Yeah, it's the ADHD. It's the ADHD. Apologies. We'll deal with it later. Tell the stories, Emily. All right. So we've got two things. One, yesterday, I know a lot of you were here when Travis came in his ROTC uniform. He didn't have his jacket on. So when you guys were looking at him, he did not. He was in just the undershirt from his ROTC uniform. But Travis popped in yesterday in his ROTC uniform before he went to an event. He was going to an ROTC fundraiser. Here, we'll just leave Court there like that. Perfect. He was going to an ROTC fundraiser. He texts me while he is at the ROTC fundraiser. And because we live in Nashville, things are unexpected. You never know who knows who and what might happen. I love this about Nashville. But he texts me and he was like, hey, do you know who Phil Collins is? And I was like, Travis, yeah, I know who Phil Collins is. You know who Phil Collins is. We were talking about Phil Collins yesterday, talking about Phil Collins's music. We were here talking about which drum solo was being played on the Pens. So Travis is like, Phil Collins is? Yes, Travis, and so do you. And then I asked the follow-up question. Why? And he's like, he's performing acoustic at our fundraiser. Excuse me. What? Oh yeah, no. So-and-so's parents like live next door to him and he's performing at our fundraiser. I'm like, what in the Nashville? What in the Nashville is happening right now? When we went to go see Metallica, Limp Bizkit answered. And I was like, when Limp Bizkit came out onto the stage, there were other performers with Phil Collins. It was not just him. There were others. But no, Phil Collins just popped in with a few other artists. And it was one of those moments. We had this moment when we were at Metallica, right? We were at Metallica and Limp Bizkit comes out and Fred Durst is like, you guys, I love being here. I love being in Nashville. I live in Franklin. And he said this at a Metallica concert in front of however many people you can fit into Nissan Stadium with the field open for a pit, which is why I'm sharing with you. And so I was just like, oh, you live here. Oh, you live here. Of course you do. And then I saw Amy Lee from Evanescence posting about somewhere that I go locally. And I was like, wait, you live here? Wait, you live here? Mm-hmm. So what in the Nashville is happening? So Phil Collins. It's funny because sometimes people are like, why did you move to Nashville? This is one of the reasons. This is one of the reasons. A, you never know what's going to happen in Nashville. B, the airport is really easy. C, everyone here that I've met is incredibly chill. D, there are a million universities. So Dr. B can also teach after he retired, and which is what he's doing now, and he loves it. And my kids have had just a great experience. Football in the South is a whole different thing. And if we weren't going to live in Texas, which is like the marching band capital of everything, Tennessee is a pretty good option. I like the hills and the trees, but I also like the airport. But the marching band has been incredible. So anyway, what in the Nashville? So we went out on Sunday. For those of you that follow me on Instagram, you might have seen it. I have some videos of Sunday for the members only. We went out to a book tour event, and then we were going out to the Goodnight Nashville bar afterwards. For those of you asking, will I let you know when court's back? I was actually hoping it would be back right now, but yes, we'll tell you in the app when court's back. It's a very fair question. Yes, we will. I was hoping they would be back. Just now. They're not. So we were going out to the bar. I was wearing one of my new Honey Love bras with a like corset style tank top and this jacket that I have that I love. I wore it at BravoCon. There's some pictures of me in it at BravoCon. It's a made in LA, like La LA jacket. Absolutely love it. Anyway, earlier in the night, I had been grabbing a drink before we went in, and a gentleman behind me was like, I love your jacket. And I turned around, and man is bedazzled. And I'm like, I love all your bling. Like, you and I are going to be friends. Like, we are going to be friends. You, sir, are a vibe. And he and his girlfriend were like, just blinged to the teeth. Fucking loved it. I was like, y'all are a vibe. I'm sure he would not love me calling his chains bedazzled. However, jeweled with like his name on him. He introduces himself. He's a professional motorcycle rider. We were chatting about the jacket. He's like, what are you ordering? I was like, I'm just getting a whiskey and ginger ale. He's like, that sounds amazing. We should do those and shots. And I was just looking at Dr. B. I was like, Dr. B's like, no, I have a very early lecture at school tomorrow morning. And I was like, well, I have trial, but also. So I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely down for shots. So he and I had a lovely chat. Shots were had, good times by all. Hung out at the book event, went to go briefly to the after party, very quickly realized that I need to go to bed, and left. Great time. We'll get there. Emily, stick to the story because court's going to come back and we're not going to get the rest of the story. So Dr. B and I went down close to Broadway to walk to Goodnight Nashville. Sunday night, it was maybe 17 degrees outside, maybe 16 degrees outside. Feels like temperature of like 9 or some shit. It was so fucking cold. So Dr. B's like, we are parking right here. And I'm like, yes, we are. But also, I grew up in the 90s. I started University of Massachusetts. I was not taking a jacket to anywhere I was going out. I am very used to making, like, I can walk from here to there to have a drink work, no matter how fucking cold it is. I am prepared for this. So it was undoubtedly cold. We are getting out of the vehicle. We are getting ready to walk to Broadway. It is so cold. Dr. B is now like speed walking. Dr. B has no tolerance for this level of cold or fuckery, and it is already late. I have had shots of whiskey. He has not. So as we are starting to walk, there is a giant Nashville-size lifted truck with a dude literally hanging out of the passenger side who is maybe 23 years old and starts hollering at me and my husband. Dr. B is still scooting away as quickly as possible the other direction. And I turn around to try to process what the hell dude is saying. And in the most Nashville way ever, dude is in the giant, like, kit lifted truck. It had to have been his best friend's ride. Like, it had to have been. Kit lifted truck, leaning out of the window almost to his waist. Sir! And I'm like, what are you yelling at us? And why are you yelling, sir? Is your wife single? And I was like, excuse me, are you talking to me? Are you talking to me? And I was like, oh, that's right. My boobs are actually up to my clavicle. Right. And you're probably drunk, so you cannot tell that I am actually old. But the sir, is your wife single? Fucking sent me. I have not laughed so hard in a minute. And I was just like, hey, first of all, you clocked it. Second of all, we're getting out of my giant mommy SUV. It is the most mom car. But sir, is your wife single? Fucking sent me. So Dr. B. I'm like, Dr. B, are you not amused? He's like, it's 7 degrees. I'm like, come on, man. Come on. We're going to have the moment. And Dr. B's just like, And I'm like, it's funny. I'm amused. I am amused. The "Sir, is your wife single?" freaking sent me. So I was very amused. But that was 100%. When we talked last week about just like bring them out. I went out on a Sunday. We brought it out. And then I was just like, oh, maybe it's time to put it back. So for all the law nerds that ran into me at the Bunny Book event, yes, and also yes, so it was just so funny. I am still giggling. We've got some videos from the night that we will do on members only when we get to members only. But it was just so funny. I was amused. I am normally in a hoodie, but I was in my coat. I made new friends. I left my house. I was just like, we've got it. But I was very amused. And then we got home and I was like, I am just ready to go to sleep. But from the "Sir, is your wife single?" to us walking into the bar and me immediately going, shit, it's way too loud in here. I mean, you go from feeling yourself to also then realizing that that the late night scene is maybe no longer for your ears and it's time to go to bed. So we hung out and Honey Love, a lot of you guys, if you're new to the chat, Honey Love is a sponsor for EDB. Honey Love has sponsored us for years, so I have a lot of Honey Love. And it's fantastic. You need the adjustable straps. They have a new crossover with the molded cups and the straps. That's the one you're looking for. Yep. They also have some of like the tank top corsets that will like double up that. They're not as easy. But if you're going out and you're going to be up, yep. You got both. Fantastic. So either way, so when you see our next Honey Love spot and you're hearing me talk about going out, you now know the whole backstory of what happened that evening. But I was absolutely amused, and I was amused. I was absolutely amused. I thought it was hilarious. I was like, this is the funniest shit ever. Nashville's hilarious. Broadway's hilarious. It's just such a thing. We do not go down to Broadway often. I am not a let's go out and drink kind of a girl. I'm a let's go out and dinner with low lighting and vibes and have a wonderful meal and maybe a drink. I also would rather have a great conversation. If I want to go hear blaring loud music, I am going to go see music. If I want to go out and have an evening, I generally want to just chat. But Nashville has so much good music, and the band that was playing was fantastic. It was just so good. It was so good. So we had a lovely night on Sunday. I got catcalled in the weirdest, most respectful Nashville way ever. And I'm here for it. And then Travis was like, oh yeah, I got to go to this like fundraiser for school and Phil Collins is there. Sure, Nashville. Sure. One never knows in Nashville. Same for the bars downtown. You never know. You never know who's going to show up and like grab a guitar and get on a stage and just start singing. You never know. Apparently Papa Roach did that like 2 weeks ago. And I was like, wait, what? How did that happen? So Nashville things. But there are plenty of good places to go have like a vibey dinner with like a delicious drink and lovely food and talking. That is much more my speed. Though I do love a dueling piano bar. I do love live music. It was funny. I also, being out on a Sunday, you can't tell on Broadway if it's a Sunday, if it's a Tuesday. It's like Vegas. It's like, it doesn't matter. Time is a construct. It's always a party time. Broadway's kind of the same. It's always party time. But Dr. B did not love being cold. So that was not fun. Rest of the evening. So since Court is not back yet, we saw Shinedown perform acoustically a couple songs. I almost lost my mind. Just the 90s bitch in me I was so fucking happy. I was so happy. Of course, because it was Bunny's book event. Jelly Roll sang at the end, but also Leo Skeppy was there. Do you guys watch Leo Skeppy? Hello and shit. I very much enjoyed Leo Skeppy. So Leo Skeppy comes out. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. This is fucking amazing. And Dr. B's like, is this TikTok stuff? Is this TikTok stuff or is this not TikTok stuff? I'm like, I will explain to you why I'm losing my fucking mind later. Because I'm just like, it's motherfucking Leo Skeppy. Come on, guy. I was so excited. Shinedown, Leo Skeppy, Winona Judd. Winona Judd was telling a story as they were chatting, book tour. Winona Judd was telling a story and was asked, if you wrote a song that spilled like all the tea on the music industry, what would the title be? Dead ass. She said, Get a Good Lawyer. And I was like, facts. Facts. That's facts. That's facts. And I enjoy Leo. So Tammy says, I live in Antioch, worked for Vanderbilt and scheduled in Franklin. A, I love Vanderbilt. B, there is a new store in Antioch in the new closet that they are building that is on my list because they have like 10,000 types of ramen. I'm very excited. So I do not know where Court is. Okay. I see Judge. We might be getting back. Pretty Mama Bear said there's a Broadway in Tennessee. Yes. When is it Big and Rich? No. Cowboy Troy, Ride a Horse, Save a Cowboy. When they're talking about riding their horse up and down Broadway, they are not talking about New York. Broadway is where all the bars are in Nashville. It heads right down to the Cumberland. It's where all the massive country bars are, and there are, at least we saw the Judge, going to be back soon. There are bars that are like 2, 3, 4 stories plus a rooftop, and sometimes have different bands on each. It's much. So it is the street. But yes, we also have a Broadway. All right. I'm going to answer some questions while we're waiting for Court to get back. I'm wondering if I should just run to the restroom now. Because we saw the Court, but we're not like back. Maybe I should. That would probably be wise. And then we can zoom as much as we can. Yeah, I think that's a good plan. And we will answer some questions. Katie says this trial already feels long. I know it does. I'm going to take like 5 minutes. I'm going to run to the restroom because we might as well plan to just zoom the best we can. But who knew the judge would have a scheduling conflict? Mama Wolf, thank you for the gifted memberships. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. This trial, we are running our own feed from the pool as part of the media pool. And that just takes we've got some quirks that we are still working out, but we get to control the audio a bit better, the video a bit better. And I absolutely love doing it and appreciate it. So it just takes me some wrangling, A, because it's new to me, and B, we're running it kind of side by side with this stream. So there's just a lot of parts, but we're getting it. We're getting it down. I feel like by the end of this trial, we're going to be like smooth. It is a smooth operation. All right. This is funny. In the live chat, Dr. Becky, I know. And the way I have heard people pronounce this, I knew when I moved to ask, because I had friends that lived here, and Judge Abby is very local. So I knew to ask, because this is not pronounced the way that it is spelled. It's like when I moved to Washington for law school, I'm like, what? Or Massachusetts for that matter. I'm like, excuse me, That's a lot of letters for you to say Worcester. There's a lot more letters in that. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of letters in that. Oh, wait. Okay. I'm going to give you one more update. I forgot to give you this update this morning. This mods, give me 3 seconds. We're going to do things that we say to not do. We're all friends here. We are in trial. We are talking about this trial. We are not going to side quest. However, we are also kind of following to the side another case that's happening in federal court. The TikTok psychic showed up for court yesterday, you guys. The TikTok psychic showed up for court yesterday. They started trial in the TikTok psychic case in federal court. Yes, she did. I know. She showed up. I'm fucking stunned. She did. She showed up. She also finally filed a witness list. The witness list is just her as like 4 different kinds of witnesses. So she filled out a witness list. It's her name in a bunch of different roles. I know. So they started trial yesterday. And yesterday I realized that a content creator, we're gonna, maybe the jury's coming in. Yesterday I realized that a content creator that I know is going to that trial. And so I reached out and we had a quick convo yesterday. So I am going to have updates for you. He was not in court yesterday. We'll talk about that. He was not in court yesterday, but he's in court today. And I am going to keep you guys in the loop because I am going to be kept in the loop. And then after this trial is done, we will be able to do a breakdown of it. Yes, Atuzzi's going to court. I'll share a link to his videos. And I was like, he's got a whole story about how he thought the trial was still going to be in Coeur d'Alene. And so flew into Boise and then went to Coeur d'Alene and then was trying to get back. He's got a whole adventure. But when I saw that he had posted, I texted him. I was like, bruh, A, I've got you and I'm here to help. B, let me give you the info that you need. And C, I'm going to need you to tell me what's going on. And so we are going to have updates for you after this is done. So we will have updates for you on the TikTok psychic trial. All right. It's going back up. Okay. I'm going to run to the restroom real quick. It looks like they're getting ready, but Atuzzi's going to be there. Federal court is not streamed. We are going to have some updates for you. We are going to wait until this trial is done, but I did want to, since we have a moment, I did want to update you that we are going to be giving a background. All right. It looks like the jury is starting to come in. I'm going to go to the restroom for 30 seconds and then we've got a little Zoom room. We will send out an app notification when I come back. But yeah, I'm stunned. She actually showed up for court. So going to the bathroom and hold on, wait, are they back? Okay, let's see. They're back. Hold on. You guys are like, no, yes, they are back. All right, let's go to court real quick and see what's going on. We can take a bathroom break later. Miguelina, do you want to ping the chat or ping the app? And we'll go back. So they are just coming back in. I can't believe she showed up either. All right, there's the judge. I can take a break and rest. So we can do that. But all right, there we are. I've got the sound. So yeah, I'm shocked that she showed up to court. There we go. We've got sound. All right. We're going to swoop now that the jury's coming in. And we'll go from there. Where'd our audio go? They're on the record. That's in court. That's not us.
of the day.
That it's not you guys muted. That was the court. Something that these lawyers and the parties have no control over. I am recessing for the rest of the day.
We will have you come back tomorrow morning, ready to go at 8:30 a.m. Between now and then, same
Okay.
instructions. Please do not speak about this case with anyone. Please do not allow anyone to speak about the case
Well-
to you. Please do not read, listen to, or watch any reports about this case from any source. You just have to affirmatively avoid those things. Please don't do any searches on the internet about this case at all. Thank you for your patience. Please travel safe. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. Please rise for the jury.
I want to see if they put anything on the record afterwards. I don't know what happened either. I don't know what happened either. The court said he had a scheduling conflict and had something else going on. There could be something popping off in another case. There could be problems that they need to deal with. I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna know.
Ms. Gipson, may I have a brief conversation with you? You don't need the bin. You can leave that there for a moment if you want.
Okay, so jury's out. They're recessing for the rest of the day. I guess we'll have some time to answer
Palmer
questions.
will watch over it. You can just step to the podium for a moment. I apologize for this delay. Can you be here ready to go at 8:30 tomorrow morning?
Yes.
Okay. Do you understand that you are still, in effect, under oath and on the stand, so you cannot confer with anybody about your testimony?
Yes.
All right. Can you follow that instruction?
Yes.
Very good. I'll see you tomorrow morning, ready to go at 8:30. You'll be taking that bin
The
with you.
jury must be
Yes.
Very
so
good.
frustrated.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Bloodworth, anything else on the record today?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Nestor?
No, sir.
Okay, very good. The court is in recess. Thank you for your patience.
Okay, they're done for the day. They're done for the day. The judge must be so frustrated. So they're done for the day. They'll be back tomorrow morning. All right. The judge said that something, that he had an unavoidable scheduling conflict that came up, that he needed to give a break for an hour. Court went on break for an hour. The judge came back and is dismissing the jury for the rest of the day. This could be something that has nothing to do with this trial and things to do with the judge. I have a number of friends that are judges. I have had friends have to, and I don't want to A, put anything out in the world that is not true, and B, cause any speculation, but I have had friends that have had personal family life things come up and need to recess for the day to handle it. I have had friends who are judges have things come up in other cases that are urgent and absolutely just have to be dealt with. So this could be something that is specific to the court. Angela said they were on break for less than 30 minutes. No, they weren't. They were on break for over an hour. We started behind time and then I paused. So they were on break for more than an hour. And then the judge had to dismiss for the day. I would not speculate that this has anything to do with this trial. This could be personal to the judge. This could be personal to one of the lawyers. We have had stuff happen in trial where people need a break. I was in trial once when Dr. B got in a car accident and I needed to go to the hospital and we had to break for the day, but the judge isn't going to ever say that in front of the jury because it could sway the jury. So I don't want to speculate. People are in trial. They're human. I hope everything is okay. The judge had a scheduling conflict come up that he couldn't avoid and told them that and then dismissed for the day. If it was one of the jurors, we would know. If it was one of the jurors, he would have said to the lawyer, there is a scheduling conflict with one of the jurors, and they would have given us a heads up. And the judge did not say, yesterday that one of the jurors had a conflict, it would have come up then. Also, if a juror had an unexpected conflict that was going to take them out for the day, they might have used an alternate and they would have talked about that. It's not a juror thing. So court is done for the day. Miguelina, will you just send out an app notification that court is unexpectedly done for the day? We might never know what happened. I hope everyone is okay. Things happen. Life happens. If this had been for issues in court, oh, that was me. If this had been for issues in court, they would have handled those on the record. So I hope everyone's okay. I have an eyelash. Hope everyone's okay. Hope that whatever the scheduling issue resolves before tomorrow. It happens. We got barely through a cross-examination today. Okay, let's try to do a summary of today. Aside from my stories, you had to be there. Let's try to do a summary of today, and then I'm going to answer some questions. Thank you guys for not speculating. We see how badly that can go. And it is what it is. So it is what it is. This trial, I said that weird as I was trying to lip gloss. Tamala said, how long is this trial scheduled? A little more than 4 weeks. Little more than 4 weeks. So for everyone just coming in, we're going to do a summary real quick. Let me actually end our feed because there is no more feed to have. Let's end our feed and we will give a quick summary. So for those of you just tuning in, we are at the end of day 3. It is noon Central. It is 11 a.m. local time. The court this morning, local time at 9:30 a.m. Mountain Time, took an hour-long break from 9:30 a.m. till 10:30 a.m. local. They were on break longer than that. So when they came back from break, when they went to break, the judge said, I have an unavoidable scheduling conflict for an hour, 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. When they got back, and they got back later than 10:30, they brought the jury in and then dismissed the jury for the day. The judge said something had come up. We'll rewind it and watch it again. Something came up. It is unavoidable. I apologize. But we are dismissing you for the day. We will be back day 4. When you are in trial, life things happen that can cause court to need to break for the day. There can be other cases that have things that just have to be handled that can interrupt trial for a day. There are a lot of different options. It doesn't mean that anything is like wrong with the trial. It can very really be other things happening. So I'm not going to speculate on that. If they were breaking for the day to handle a pressing legal issue, they would be doing that on the record. And they would be doing that. They would be doing that on the record. So it is not something that is one of the issues we saw this morning. Carrie in the chat said, Emily, you mean to tell me Judge M has other cases in this one? Yes. But it could very realistically just be life stuff that is happening. Truly. Roger said, do you think there's a plea deal? No. No, I don't. I 100% do not think there's a plea deal. I don't think the issue for today has anything to do with this case. Let's take a look at what the judge said real quick. Let's run it back and look at what the judge said before the break, because the judge said there was a scheduling conflict that he needed to handle. This could also be life things. People have lives. I don't think it has to do with this case. Let's take a look at what the court said before the break, and then we'll take a look at after the break. I do not think this is about this case. I think it's probably frustrating to all the attorneys involved, but it's something. It's just not something that happened in court today. It's not something that's legal. It just is. Oh, that was me. Hold on. See, because we have our own.
Ms. Nestor, I have a scheduling conflict
Yeah.
at 9:30. Is this an appropriate place
Sure.
to pause?
Sure is.
Ladies and gentlemen, this
They also started a little late today. I don't know if the court gave the lawyers a heads up on this. I'm sure that he did. But you hear what the judge say. Ms. Nestor, I have a scheduling conflict at 9:30. Is this a good place to stop?
Ms. Nestor, I have a scheduling conflict.
She was
at
mid-questioning.
9:30. Is this an appropriate place
Sure.
to pause?
Sure is.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is no fault of the attorneys. I have an unavoidable scheduling conflict from 9:30 to 10:30. We didn't want to lose all of that time this morning. We have gotten as much done as we could. We're going to take a recess. Fair reminder, please don't talk about this case or anything related to it. You are free to
Yeah,
talk
Nestor
about
didn't
everything
look-
else. Current events, your family's sports, whether the Spurs are actually going to make it to the finals.
Nestor didn't
that's
look
all
surprised.
fair game. But please, no talking about this case. You are allowed to use your personal devices during this recess, but do not use them to post about the case or to do any research, and please avoid any social media or other reports about the case during that time. Thank you for your patience. I promise we'll get back on the record as soon as we can. Please rise for the jury.
All right. So that was the break. The jury went out. The court said no fault of the attorneys. I have an unavoidable scheduling
Ms.
conflict.
Gipson, during this break, like overnight, you are proverbially still on the stand. Please isolate yourself. Don't confer with anyone. Okay. The court is in recess until 10:30. Thank you for your time.
All right, court is in recess till 10:30. They did not go back on the record right at 10:30. We're going to go to right when the court got back on the record, and it took a minute for the pool audio to come back up. They are not allowed to have audio until they are on the record. So as they come back into court, they panned up. Let's see what happens when they pan back down. And then the jury comes in and they dismiss them. So let's take a look again at what the judge said. It's a bummer in a trial this long to have to recess for a day. That's a bummer. The feed does not have audio. This is coming from the court pool cameras. The audio is not turned up yet. So I'm going to see what the closed captioning starts to pick up when this sounds very low. He said it's something that these lawyers and these parties have no control over.
Of the day.
I am recessing for the rest of the day.
We will have you come back tomorrow morning, ready to go at 8:30 a.m. Between now and then, same instructions. Please do not speak about this case with anyone. Please do not allow
That's
anyone
unavoidable.
to speak about the case to you. Please do not read, listen to, or watch any reports about this case from any source. You just have to affirmatively avoid those things. Please don't do any searches on the internet about this case at all.
That's a bummer.
Thank you for your patience. Please travel safe. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. Please rise for the jury.
So they recessed for the day before 11 a.m. local time. It took them a minute to come back on the record. I'm just going to go grab the docket real quick and see if anything's filed on the docket. I'm guessing it won't be, but we've got a minute. So we can check. But yeah, the court is
Ms. Gipson,
recessed
may I
for the
have a
day.
brief conversation with you. You don't need the band. You can leave that there. For
He's
a
going to
moment if you
excuse the
want.
witness.
Mr. Palmer will watch over it for you. You can just step.
I'm
to
going
the
to pull
podium
up
for a
the
moment.
docket while he lets
I
them.
apologize for this delay.
Yeah, that's a
Can you
bummer.
be here ready to go at 8:30 tomorrow morning?
Yes.
Okay. Do you understand that you are still, in effect, under oath and on the stand, so you cannot confer with anybody about your testimony?
Yes.
All right. Can you follow that instruction?
Yes.
Very good. I'll see you tomorrow morning, ready to go at 8:30. You'll be taking that bin with you, correct?
Yes.
Very good. Thanks.
Take the bin.
Okay.
See you
Mr. Bloodworth,
tomorrow.
anything else on the record today?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Nestor?
No, sir.
Okay, very good. The court is in recess. Thank you for your patience.
Okay. Jessica said, question, the witness also gets instructions. Do they mean she can't talk to anyone about anything or just about the case? She can't talk about the case. She can't talk to the lawyers. She can't say, did I keep doing this? Did I keep doing that? She can't talk about it. So, we don't know what happened in court. The judge said it was an unavoidable scheduling conflict. It happens. Life happens. Stuff happens. It's frustrating. It's frustrating, but we're not going to speculate on what's going on. We don't know. Whatever happened is unavoidable. No, it's not going to be a plea deal in this case. That's not going to happen. No, it's not going to be that there was a massive legal issue that has blown up the entire case. If it is, they would be arguing it on the record right now. It is something unavoidable. That is it. Please don't speculate on it because we don't know. We might not know until later. What we do know is court recess for the day. Court will be back tomorrow. Hope everything's okay. We'll find out. But it is part of life in court. There are things that are going to be unavoidable. I'm going to check the docket and see if there's anything on the docket that we can look at. But if it was a massive legal issue, they could dismiss the jury and argue it. We saw that in the Rust case. The jury was dismissed and they argued. And then they took a break and everybody's like, Baldwin's taking a plea deal. I'm like, no, he's not. This is not about a plea deal. We just need to wait. And then they came back and the whole case got dismissed because of a discovery issue. Waiting is uncomfortable. Waiting is frustrating. But we just have to wait. Filling in waiting with speculation spackle is not going to be helpful because it's probably going to be wrong. So thank you. I appreciate you. There is nothing on the docket that would give me any indication of what's going on. But also, we're not going to have any more court today. So we will just see. There's not going to be any more than what we saw. And the court is not going to tell the jury specifically what's happening because anything could influence the jury. When I was in trial and I needed to go to the hospital for Dr. B, which is that's not a call you want to get when you're working, especially when you're in trial, right? But we didn't tell the jury what was going on because you don't want the jury to have additional empathy or sympathy to me because that could sway the jury. So you don't want to give the jury any more information. Also, for those of you asking about the TickTok psychic case, it's a federal case. There is no streaming. There is no live tweeting. There is no audio. There is nothing. I am keeping in communication with the Tuesday who's going to be breaking it down, but they're not done in court today till 3, and we won't have any breakdowns till after that. I am going to do that after we get into this trial. While we were on break today, I wanted to let you know that she did show up for trial. Trial is happening, and we will cover it when we're done with this. I will probably talk about it in the podcast on Monday if we have some information. So trial has started, but he's there today in court currently now. So what's happening? They're in court. They're in court. We're not in court. You know what? Let me put this up. Court over today. There. Hopefully that helps. I'm going to answer some questions and we're going to wrap streaming. Team Baker will be thrilled because there's other stuff that I need to take care of that I haven't in days because we've been streaming for 10 plus hours a day. So we're going to answer some questions. Anybody who hasn't caught up on our almost like Ryan Hall y'all length stream from Monday, we can do that. So that's where we're at today. Let's answer some questions. Let's roll our question bumper. We'll find out when we find out. Things happen. They are unavoidable. It's going to be a 4+ week trial. Today is the day, law nerds. today is the day to get shit done, because we're going to be in trial that is going to be running for like 9+ hours a day for weeks. Today is the day. Pivot. Answer emails, do laundry, get snacks. Pivot. Ash said, wait, I love that y'all besties with a 2Z. It's, we're definitely acquaintances. I wouldn't say besties. I am old, but we have met at YouTube events, and we stay in communication. I did not know he was going to the TikTok psychic trial. I also like following up on the BitBoy crypto stuff because I found him during the BitBoy crypto stuff and had watched some of his other videos. And there are things that he goes to court and covers that nobody else covers. And so I appreciate it. I didn't know he was going to be there. He didn't realize that I was still covering the TikTok psychic stuff. So when I saw him post about it, I texted and was like, dude, do you need like the courtroom information? Let me send you some documents. Here's the stuff. And this is what I want to, this is what's supposed to be happening tomorrow. This is what we know that you missed from today, because they just started yesterday and picked a jury and started the very briefest of opening statements and then started just a little bit of the first witness. So he's going to be back in court today, and I can't wait to go catch up with that. But we will catch up with that together later. But I love that he's in court and that we'll have some updates, and then we'll figure it out from there after this trial's over. But I will keep you guys up to date. So without trying to derail this trial, because I really don't want to have like midway through this trial, TikTok psychic breaks. Today was kind of unprecedented. For those of you asking what the TikTok psychic trial is about, Emily, you just said you weren't going to do this. I mean, this is why we have timestamps. Today's an unprecedented kind of a day, y'all. The TikTok psychic trial, in brief, is a defamation case that is going to trial because a TikToker divined from their clairvoyance, claircognizance, and tarot cards that a professor at the University of Idaho was responsible for the Bryan Kohberger murders. And the defamation case started over quite a lot of TikToks made, accusing that professor of being a murderer, among other things. The court determined the liability. It is a civil defamation case. The court found the TikToker who's representing themselves pro se liable for defamation. So defamation has been decided. Defamation has been decided. Now it's in court for damages. And the TikToker is going with the, not intentionally, I believe it's true, she's not really damaged anyway. There's a GoFundMe. She's not damaged. What the TikToker keeps forgetting is that there's also punitive damages on the table. And so the jury can award actual damages for the cost for the professor of therapy, changing phone numbers, damage to reputation, damage to job trajectory, actual costs of security because she was getting death threats all over the internet. This all happened before Bryan Kohberger was arrested. So all of those are actual damages, but there's also punitive damages where the jury can literally just be like, fuck you. Hey, we hate this, fuck you. Hey, fuck you. So the punitive damages are literally the punishment ones. They're not tied to, oh, how much did you spend on medical bills? Oh, how much is pain and suffering worth? They're based on because fuck you, that's why. Don't do this again. And they're not just based on fuck you, that's why for that creator. They're based on fuck you, that's why we don't do this. We as a community, that jury, we as a community do not think that this is okay. This is a level of fuckery we're not fine with. So here's the punitive damages. We hope that it's hard enough for you that it A, tells you never to do this again, and B, warns others, if you do this, there are massive consequences. So the punitive damages are allowed to send a message. You see them a lot with like civil litigation between massive corporations. Like, okay, here's the damages. Here's the punitive damages for fuck you. Right. And in this type of case, punitive damages aren't always available, but the judge allowed them based on the behavior in the case. So that's what's going on in federal court. The professor filed it in federal court. So that is why it's moving forward federally. There are diversity jurisdiction did exist in this case. So there's diversity jurisdiction. And they chose to file it in federal court because it is easier when you have diversity jurisdiction to be in federal court. Much harder to grab someone because the TikToker does not live in Idaho. Much easier to grab the TikToker out of their state when it's federal jurisdiction over the entire United States than to try to establish jurisdiction in Idaho. But we saw that in the Toddy Westbrook case. You can still have issues with jurisdiction in state court. You can have issues with jurisdiction in federal court, but it's different. And it's easier to subpoena them and get them into court. But she showed up. She showed up, which shocked me. So that's going to trial. She's going to testify on her own, which means she's going to get up there and be like, nah. And then the attorney for the professor, who's a former federal prosecutor, is going to cross-examine her. So we're going to have to wait for reporting on that. I am still stunned that she showed up. But also, I think she wants to be heard. But I am stunned she showed up. So we'll see. So that's going to trial only on damages. It's only over money. There is another creator, Atuzi, that's in court for that. We're going to, you can go follow his coverage on that. But also, we will summarize it later and I will keep you up to date on that. So when it comes to things like, and I have no problem with tarot cards. You guys know I love Aphrodite and other tarot card readers. I love all of it. Here for it. What you can't do is accuse people of murder. What you can't do is say, this person did this murder and this is the reason why. You cannot fanfic a crime and then say, but I was right. No, you're not. You cannot accuse people of crimes. No, you can't. No, you can't. So it's going to be a mess. I can't wait to see what happens. And also, like, honestly, how did she not see this coming? Truly. But we're now in the find out. And I think she probably thought that this would all just go away. Then again, her email address has the beginning of her name is God. That is her email address. Beginning of name is God at like Gmail. So I also don't feel that there is this is personal opinion. I do not feel there is a level of respect there. I feel like what we're dealing with is, I don't feel what we're dealing with is a respectful boundary. She does talk about her own claircognizance and clairvoyance and omniscience. So she does see herself as all-knowing. So it's kind of beyond, it's beyond just pulling cards. So that's where we're at. And it's going to be interesting because she's trying to prove in this trial that some of her TikToks about the Idaho murders were correct. Like saying that the victims were scared. So her TikTok account is not still up. The reason that we just refer to her as TikToker is because I do not even want her name to show up in the transcripts of my videos. I do not want to give her any additional clicks, clout, positive attention, because sometimes all attention is good attention. No, it's not. I am not going to name her. I do not want it in even the transcripts of the video to tie back if you Google her name. I think that the best thing we can hope for the TikToker is that her name just kind of disappears off of the Google and there's no attention there. Sometimes, oftentimes, the best way to put out a fire is to suffocate it. I'm not throwing oxygen on it. And I'm not throwing oxygen on the name. No. No oxygen here. We're going to snuff out the fire. Right? Just fade away. In the immortal words of Rex Manning, fade away. We deprive you of the attention that you so desperately crave. Let's answer some questions. Court is over for today. EDB probably needs a nap, so it's going to be fine. Susan said it's been 2 days, feels like 2 weeks. Facts. Facts. Darcy said wearing my Neuro Spicy sweatshirt for day 3. I love it. I need to go wash some of my other sweatshirts. We are looking at a restock on some of the other sweatshirts. We do not have a restock of this one planned yet, though. Y'all have asked for it. At one point, we will need to do a your favorites launch. Julie in the chat said, I missed so much today. Not really. Not really. We got Kathy Nestor trying to be charming to the jury. We got like 17 questions of cross-examination. Then there was an hour-long break, and then court recessed for the day. You really didn't miss tons. So, Spoiled Sprites in the chat asked, except how's she going to make money to pay off her fees? I have a little bit more information about that. There are things that can be garnished. We'll just leave that there, but they will have to go after garnishment and stuff. But there is, from what I've seen, money coming in other ways. So, garnishment from now until forever. J.M. McCarthy, thank you for the gifted memberships, and to everyone who gifted memberships, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Tracy asked, genuinely curious, when attorneys ask witnesses questions about what they did or did not do, and it's not the witness's job, is that because attorneys truly don't know, or is it a tactic? It's a tactic. It's a tactic. Sometimes attorneys genuinely don't know, but it's rare, especially when you're looking with somebody like the crime scene investigator. You know what crime scene does. You're not new. It's a tactic. Ask someone whose job it's not. It muddies the water. Sometimes it's genuine. Like, did you do this? No, I didn't. Oh, I thought you did. Okay. Most of the time it's a tactic. Roger in the chat said, is the walk the dog letter coming in pretrial motions? They determined that a redacted version of the first couple pages will come in. Subject, of course, to foundation. So we're going to have to go through how they found it, which they're going to have to tiptoe around a little bit. They're going to have to tiptoe around that. But Sunko said, is that on the witness? She's not a mind reader. I mean, she should have been a mind reader. I don't think it's on the witness that she said, you mean the jail calls. We can go back and look real quick since we're here. We can go back and look real quick. Court is unexpected. But we can go back and look at that question real quick because the witness said, can you clarify? And then she just repeated the answer. No, let's go take a look real quick. We'll go take a look real quick. For anyone that missed anything today, this was about it. And a lot of Emily stories. And that's about it. Because today was today. Let's see.
You obtain that call.
I believe I was booked into evidence on a...
That's about the 911 call.
Bloodworth.
Your Honor, it's Ms.
Oh, my apologies, Ms. Sherman.
That's all right.
Okay, that's about the 911 call. Let me zoom because they go to sidebar on the 911 call. Because again, this is not her thing. They had a very long sidebar about the 911 call and then starts asking about, did you download calls between Kouri Richins and her family? And the way Ms. Nestor framed it, because this is not the witness who was asked about this at all on direct. This is a question that should be asked of the investigating officer, and that's part of what the issue was here.
Who gave you the thumb drive?
Okay, this is still about the 911 call.
I don't know how it typically goes into the temporary locker where they drop the key.
I'm going to try to fast forward till we get to
collect it.
Is that what happened in this?
till we get to the other calls.
But either way, it's
Once that thumb drive.
All right, that's 911.
Court's indulgence for just a minute. And I want to use our language really carefully.
This part.
Duties.
Oh. Hold on.
And I want to use our language.
This is the part where my feed got screwed up this morning because of me. Hold on one second. I had forgotten. I told you we are still working on running our own feeds, which is also something I need to work on this afternoon and will be working on this afternoon. All right, give me 30 seconds to go grab this from a different feed, because of course it's right. Of course it's the exact same. Of course it's the exact same thing. Like, of course it is. All right, give me 30 seconds, chat. Sorry about that. I had not planned on re-queuing this up this morning. We're side questing. We're just side questing. We can't side quest to federal court though, unfortunately, because we do not have feeds in federal court, which really annoys me. Just really annoys me. Let's see. Let's see if there is. All right, let's grab it here. What a short court day. Absolutely wild today. Let me cue this back up and go from there. Let's see if it's about the same as we switch.
Picture. And there's not a sheet on the map.
Okay, we're way at the wrong time. But we're just going to do it together because we'll fix it in post. Nope. All right.
Yes, all these questions are the 13th until I switch, okay?
All right. We had rewound that a couple times too. That's the pill bottles. This is about the 911 call. It's right after this.
This is a time where you downloaded home wave calls. Is that correct?
All right. This feed's clicking a little bit, but we didn't use it for the entire time, so it'll be fine. If those of you who missed the wink, yes, that happened earlier today. Today, even though it didn't happen a lot, happened. Today happened.
Wow.
Things happened today.
Were you downloading calls?
All right.
Clarify.
When I say we'll fix it in post, Amelia, it's me joking that we do everything live and I have fucked something up. So when we record the podcast, which we do a lot of times with members, I will joke we'll fix it in post. And then my editors make me look much more put together and succinct, because there's times I will restart something and be like, oh, let's just cut. Let's do that again. We can make it better. But because I live stream, I joke about the fact that we'll just fix it in post when things on stream are just a little wild, because we just leave the streams up. But we do the case briefs, which have my summaries and clips from court, over on the Emily Show channel. And we have case briefs up there. So it's me joking that I have done something, So continuing on. I think we are now to the point where we're going to be asking, what are we looking back at? For all of you that just popped in, court is over for the day. We are looking what happened earlier in the day regarding the jail calls and who's responsible for them.
As another part of your duties,
she did say duty.
and I want to use our language really carefully here, so if you could match my language, that would be helpful, okay?
Okay.
Were there calls between Ms. Richins and her family that you obtained recordings of?
Can you clarify?
Okay. First question was, did you obtain calls between Ms. Richins and her family? Can you clarify? Let's see what the clarifying question is.
On about a weekly basis there for a while, were you downloading calls between Kouri Richins and her family?
Are you talking about jail calls?
She asked for clarification, and the clarification was the exact same question. Can you clarify? Were you downloading calls between Ms. Richins and her family? Well, I don't know if there were any wiretaps in this case. We haven't heard about it, but wiretaps are a form of call between someone and their family. There are calls between someone and their family that could be like, I guess maybe voicemails, because she did some of the phone extractions. But when we look at this series of events, I don't think this is the witness's fault. She asked for clarification. And then she clarified, were you doing this weekly? But again, that could be a number of different things. So what calls? I think if the attorney, and it's really hard to do this in real time, if the attorney had said recorded calls, or if the attorney had said, Your Honor, may we approach? Because this is not the right witness for this. I don't think this is the witness that downloaded them. Normally the jail does that. This witness might have booked them into evidence and tagged them, but then the question would be, were you provided calls to book into evidence? Or this is cross-examination. Were you provided calls 1102 through 5097 and booked them into evidence, and did you do so, and where did you log it? Because this is cross. You can just ask the question. You booked into evidence calls that were provided to you by the sheriff's department. But when you're trying to trip up the witness, it can backfire.
As another part of your
So we're going to watch it one more time.
duties,
I think the questioning's the issue here, not the witness.
and I want to use our language really carefully here. So if you could match my language, that would be helpful. Okay.
Okay.
Were there calls between Ms. Richins and her family that you obtained recordings of?
Can you clarify?
On about a weekly basis there for a while, were you downloading calls between
I guess she
Kouri
said
Richins and her
downloaded.
family?
Are you talking about jail calls?
Your Honor, move to strike and need to approach.
I guess the witness could have said, can you clarify again? But that's not on the witness. She asked for clarification. But the downloading was the clarification, I guess. However, that could be a lot of different things because she did dump all the phones. If you're worried on cross that you are treading into a ground where the witness may step into it, ask to approach, or ask the witness whose job it was, or ask the leading question. You booked into evidence this number of calls. The judge fixed it. This is not why today was stopped. This is not why today was stopped at all. But yeah, of course she was annoyed. This was not the problem. The judge gave a clarifying instruction and said, don't speculate about whether or not Ms. Richins is in custody. I think that the jurors that are going to look at Ms. Richins and be like, oh, she was arrested for this. Because is anyone assuming she wasn't arrested? She's on trial for aggravated murder. Nobody's thinking she wasn't arrested. If they are inclined to think that she is more likely or less likely to be guilty based on the fact that she's sitting in the defendant's chair, I don't know if that changes based on whether or not she was in jail. I think most people would assume if you're on trial for murder, you were probably in jail. I don't think this is a huge issue. And I don't think knowing that Kouri Richins was in jail is more prejudicial than her just sitting there and being the defendant. I think those are equal. And I think a lot of people might come in to a case to sit on a jury looking at the defendant being like, well, what did you do? But there are some people who will come into a trial, look at the defendant and be like, what do they say you do? Or what did they say that you did? And some jurors who cannot move past you're sitting in the defendant's chair, therefore you're guilty, are going to get kicked off the jury anyway. So it's not that hugely prejudicial. And it's not the problem or the scheduling issue that happened today. No one's going to be shocked. So can you clarify the calls you downloaded? You mean the jail calls? Fuck. So then they go to sidebar, and then she comes in and says, or narrows down the program that they use to download the calls, which if anyone has ever called anyone in custody, they would know exactly what that is anyway. So there were a couple quirks today at sidebar, and then the court broke for the day. We're going to answer a few more questions, but that was a good question. Thank you. Let's see. Question, bite of Judge M saying, tell me why. I might need Judge M's pause. We're going to have to wait and see. I might need Judge M's pause. Enzo said, it's my birthday and the Hubs bought me a new Lawnard zip up. Thanks for the fun, EDB. I hope you love it. Our zip ups are warm and squishy. Samantha Williams asked, is this typical? No, court unexpectedly breaking for the day is not typical, but it also happens. It happens. It is not something that happens all the time, but it happens. So it just is. Rebecca said, I was in Nashville's vacationing. I was excited about all the bars. Yes. My excitement was I was in EDB land. Thank you. If I had run into you, I would have lost my mind. You're pro. Glad I didn't see you. No, you're all good. I'm not pro. Glad I didn't see you. I love running into the law nerds. It's just when we're streaming trials, I don't leave my house very often, so it becomes harder to run into me because I'm not out and about. But I love seeing the law nerds out and about. And when I am out, I do run into the law nerds quite a bit. It's great to see you guys. It's always fun to see you. Always fun. Salty Beach Girl said, treated myself to a law nerd merch. Couldn't be happier. Thank you. I should probably go talk to Team Baker. We're working on some restocks. Does anybody else get an urge to replay The Last of Us when hearing EDB's break time music? Oh, that's a good question. All of you guys were so ready for another day of court. So ready for another day of court. And then today was just like, meh. Letta said, why can't you say fuckery in the intro? YouTube keeps shifting their rules or thresholds on curse words. And there was a point where the earlier in the video you had curse words, the less reach the video would get. So there were some platform quirks to that. And I didn't want to be like, okay, Emily, count down to running the intro. Like if I have to look at time and be like, oh, if I do this at this time, it's going to be a problem. If I do this at this time, it won't be a problem. It will just break my brain. So I was like, you know what? We'll just bleep it. We'll bleep it in the intro. It'll be fine. So that's why. That's why we removed it. It was just to work alongside platform quirks. Because sometimes you just need to work alongside platform quirks. That has since shifted, but I didn't also want to keep editing the intro because you never know when I'm going to play it. I never know when I'm going to play it. And so, yeah, I was just working with it. So Leo said, I have an apology and a thank you. I'm sorry I can't stay for all of today's stream. Thanks for making me a law nerd. Can't wait to watch with the replay crew. I'm so sorry, Leo. Today was unexpected. Unexpected. Mama Empath, I'm sorry you are dealing with hospice. And I'm sorry we're not in court longer today. Amy's waiting for my bestie to have her first baby today. I hope that goes well. Congratulations to everyone. Dizzy Brown said, wearing my I have questions zip up. I am ready. I mean, next week we might have to plan like a law nerd day for all of you that we can just all wear our stuff. Like on Wednesdays, we wear law nerd. We'll have to do that next week. Thank you for the shout out to the mods. Y'all kept them busy. Well, not y'all. Other people kept them very busy yesterday. Very busy. I had an apology for the mods yesterday. I'm like, yeah, that it was much. So yeah, it was much, but we don't speculate. I try to give reasonable boundaries to what's happening. Is it when we don't know, we don't know. So I try to give reasonable boundaries on things, but the judge had a scheduling conflict today. That's what he said. That's all we know. It happens. So court ended for the day. MLS Making Law Simple. Would you be able to list all the evidence presented thus far, which tends to prove her guilt? I would have to go through my notes and look at what's been introduced and what hasn't been introduced. But we're 3 days in, so we're really early on. We're really early on. Yeah. So I would need to go through my notes to see what's admitted, what's not admitted. Because there's a long way to go. And we're way too early in. I mean, we're still in foundation for a lot of things. So I think this is one of those cases, though, where opening statements are going to assist how the jury views the evidence quite a bit. But we'll see, because the defense has raised some questions. And those questions are, well, were the gummies in the house before? Were they not? Did this get tested? Did it not? They are trying to poke holes. That is their job. And they are trying to poke holes. But I also know some of the stuff that's going to be coming. So it's really hard for me to put my brain to this is all I know today, because I know so much more about this case, which is why I'm really clear that this is a case I've been covering since the inception of the bond hearing. And there is so much that I know that is going to come into evidence that we saw at preliminary hearing that it gets harder to separate the two. Angela in the chat asked, is she paying for her defense in so much as she was a taxpayer of Summit County? Yes, but no, they are not privately retained. Thank you for the 10 gifted memberships. Thank you. Let's see. I'm going to try to get to a little bit more. Jolly Roger said, low-key, a little sad Ramos reined it in yesterday. It would have been exhausting to be that theatrical for an entire trial for both him and me. But the side comments to the jury is going to get difficult for me. There are moments where it's appropriate. I think saying like, oh, when it was snowing, you know, when Park City used to get snow, I think that's fair. But when it's constantly, let me tell you about my closet. There's a balance, and everyone has their own threshold for that balance. And I try to balance for myself my frustration with some of the ways that things are being done in court with, is this a fair question or not? I try to balance the two. But we definitely saw different vibes before trial started. Lawyers can be very different in front of a jury. And we're seeing some of that here. You said she was a taxpayer so confidently. I posit that she evaded that pesky law. Well, I mean, when she was married, I imagine that they both paid taxes. She hasn't been charged with that. So in so much as the family paid taxes. Yeah. So a lot of you are asking, are they public defenders? The defense attorneys are contracted and retained by the county to represent the defendant. They are not hired by the public defender's office, but they are acting in that capacity. So they are private attorneys that are retained to defend Kouri Richins. They're detained in other cases, retained in other cases as well. But we have seen that in a couple cases, so they are contracted for this case. They also handle federal cases. I think they're probably on the federal appointment as well. So that. Let's see. Trophy Wife said on replay, yes, growing up in SoCal counts for saying y'all. It's the same longitude as the part of Southeast or the part of East Alabama that I'm in. Right? It is. I mean, it's not southern, but it is south. Or the other way around. It is Southern California, but it is not the South. Pick one way or the other. Rachel said, just love being here with you in the Law Nerds. I love being here with you in the Law Nerds too. I do. The best time. Jamie Mama said, I had an assignment last night asking about punitive damages. I referenced the TickTok psychic case. Right? It works well. A lot of you are asking for other case coverage. I cannot think that there will ever be a time when we're not in this trial right now. So I don't know. We're going to see what happens when we're done with this one. And we're going to have to see what my kids' tour schedule looks like. So that's the truth. We're just going to have to wait and see. So Gen X Girl 77 said, I love the way you and the mods prevent speculation like yesterday and today. Thank you. You're welcome. It's uncomfortable to not know. I do not want to just fill in the gaps to fill in the gaps. It is something that I very much dislike. We're just going to have to wait. I'm also impatient, but filling in the gaps with not accurate information isn't helpful. So, could be many things. We'll find out or we won't. At some point, there will be transcripts. The court did not go on the record today until the jury was walking in. They were all in court well before that, but we did not see that. Thank you so much for the 50 gifted memberships. We have lots of new members today. Lots and lots and lots of new members today. So thank you everyone who gifted memberships. Law Nerds, we could probably chat forever. Obviously I can. I am going to take the opportunity, since court is done for the day, to A, give the mods a break and give them back some of their time. B, make sure that editors and everybody are done early for the day and can get some rest, and that you can get some rest as well. We do not know what's happening with the scheduling issue that caused court to end today. It is not, I have another tab that is tabbing. Where? What did I do? I messed something up and something's
Seat as you come in.
auto starting again. That's twice, Emily. Twice. Happened yesterday. I'm going to have to get better at that. That's twice. We don't know what happened. The court said it was scheduling. If anything happens tomorrow, I'll let you know in the app. If we learn anything, I'll let you know in the app. I'll just send a message. We don't know. So we don't know. I guess we'll see. But the court is done for the day. The jury got their time back. They're going to go home, do laundry. I'm going to go home. I'm going to go home. I'm going to do laundry. And we're going to be back tomorrow. I will keep you updated in the Law Nerd app. If you don't have the Law Nerd app, get the Law Nerd app. I'll keep you posted there. Today's the day to catch up on everything. It's Wednesday. Get your emails done, because if we're in court the next 2 days, we're going to be busy. If anything goes on the docket that changes tomorrow, I'll let you know. We should be starting around 10 my time tomorrow, 10 Central, but we'll have to wait and see. And from there, y'all, we're done with court for the day. That's enough for this good day. So we'll see. We side quested most of the day. We did 20 minutes of court and 2 hours of side quest. All right, do the shit you need to do, you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you in the app later. I'll probably see you on social later. I'll go summarize what happened. I'm sure the internet is going to melt down over court ending. Y'all, here's what we do know. Here's what we know for a fact. If it was regarding motions that they needed to argue, they would be on the record arguing it. If it was regarding things that happened on the record in court today, they would have stayed on the record to deal with it. If the jury was being excused and the trial was going to be over, it's not. They would have addressed that today. When the court says it's scheduling, we have to believe that that's what the court means. No more details than that. This is not something wrong with the case. Life happens. I'm sure you've had an experience where you've gone in for a work day and everything went fucking sideways. And you're like, well, that's not how I thought today was going to go. Might have nothing to do with work. I don't think this has anything to do with this case at hand. So we're just going to have to wait and see. And the judge said we're going to be back tomorrow. So that's where we're at. All right. Law Nerds, good to see you. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. We've got this. I'll see you tomorrow. We've got this. We've got this, chat. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Thank you for joining me. Make sure you don't miss a live stream or any of the updates on the cases that you care about most with the Law Nerd app at lawnerdapp.com. It's a free download on iOS and Android, so I can keep you in the loop, because you never know when something's going to pop off. Thanks for being here, and thanks for being a Law Nerd.